What's up? What's up,
Welcome,
people?
welcome, everyone. We back. The Collective Bargaining Park. What was that? Shit. The Collective Bargaining Podcast. What's up,
Yeah,
guys? How you
welcome.
doing?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We are back. It seems like the world changed upside down when uh, you know, when we took
Listen.
that break, man. It's just, we got
one
wars.
minute we're all good, and the next minute it's like, yo, where you gonna?
It's a wild world right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. We can't go without acknowledging what's happening right now because it is affecting sports on a global scale. Basketball is huge in Europe. Some huge basketball teams that compete for the title over in Europe actually compete,
Yep.
over in Ukraine even, and
Euroleague. Yeah.
exactly EuroLeague where we see quite a lot of players, coming over. So it does disrupt the league and some of the talent that I'm sure they have on rosters that a lot of scouts have been checking out, etc. I'm sure that's going to disrupt some of the flow of talent over there as well. Some of the young guys coming up, watching basketball, you could imagine that generation is now
Can't
at
see
the
nothing.
moment refugees, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really something to see. Yeah, I really just hope for peace in that situation, and hopefully we could see the end of what essentially is a war and is escalating. I truly hope that this doesn't go beyond the situation in Ukraine, really, because it has all the components
It
and
has all the opponents leading that needs to happen
be
that will,
there.
because
Yeah,
history has shown that we going in the direction that that might
yeah,
be another.
yeah. You have
Just we
even
just need that little component. That's that little
exact
component, and that's it.
exactly. Um, we're not gonna try to turn this into
No,
into
no,
a war zone, so to speak, or war talk. But
no.
we just want to acknowledge that we do support peace and we support uh, you know, a quick ending to what we're actually seeing, which is horrific. We do acknowledge that there's a lot of wrong in this world, right? But we're not gonna spend too much time on that. But we do want to acknowledge that what's going on. We both do not support, and we hope that there's a drastic end to the situation, and peace is the winner coming out of it, right? So, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Uh, in terms of basketball, we got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about because, Philly. I want to start off with
Woo!
Philly. Wow,
Red Hot
that's
Philly.
wow. I'm
Come
I'm
on, son.
just I am actually I know some people will say, we shouldn't be surprised when discussing the situation over there in Philly, but if you ask me, I am happy to say that, Philly looks like a contender right now. Philly looks like, the chemistry process between the two stars driving the situation over there seems to have a lot of potential. Your thoughts on where you think Philly can go?
Ugh. Philly would go as far as James Harden will take them, right?
Okay, okay, okay,
Not
okay.
Embiid, but as far as James, because we have seen from Houston, we have seen from the Nets that when James Harden is invested and interested in playing, he's a next level player compared to what we've
Absolutely.
seen on last year on the Nets. I mean, granted he was injured, but you can see like a bit of disinterest in
Right.
the playoffs last year, where it didn't make him seem like he wanted to go the extra mile.
Yeah,
He was just there as a body,
yeah, yeah.
right? So, but when he's invested and when he's interested in playing, and this was, and most people don't realize that the Philadelphia 76ers was his first choice when he wanted to get traded from Houston,
Right,
right?
right.
It was his first choice, so he's happy to be there. His friends, his all his good buddies are there. The owner's his buddy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Imagine that you're gonna play for your buddy. You're gonna be happy,
yeah.
right? So it's gonna go as far as Philly's gonna go as far as James Harden takes them. But I'm not overhyped by the two games that they played
Right.
because they played the Knicks and they played the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Yeah.
None are playoff, none are playoff teams.
Contenders. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
So
think they're in the playoffs regardless of how you look at it right now. With the
yeah,
amount of games left,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
their schedule, I think they're in the playoffs. I think what I'm going to be looking for is, and I think you pointed that out, is how they do against contenders. And what I would do is actually lower James Harden's minutes. I would make sure they get a rhythm, but I would actually lower his usage, for certain games where it's a certain win, or try to get an early lead, and so you could play less minutes towards the end of the game. I mean, it's I would just say just have a strategy where you're not we know what happens with James Harden, right? It seems chronic if you ask me, because he has a lingering injury since he picked it up late in the playoffs in Houston. It seems to be reoccurring.
Yes.
I'm not going to go as far as, because we were hearing reports that KD genuinely thought he was faking the injury, right? That put him out, because we saw him right after the All-Star game, ready to play, right, warming up. In fact, before that,
Even
he
before
met with
he
Embiid,
was in the
right?
camp. Yeah,
Right. So
practicing the step back.
I understand that, but I do think he has a nagging injury. So I'm going to be watching for that as his usage climbs in the playoffs, as you're
Right.
trying to beat teams, right? That's a concern for me with James Harden. But the sky's the limit. I agree with you. With James Harden right now in the lineup, I'm going to make a take right now. I'm going to go through
Okay.
each of the teams that they could possibly meet in the playoffs, okay? Um, the 76ers can beat the Hawks.
Yes.
They can beat the Raptors. They can
Yes.
beat the Celtics. They can beat
Okay. Yeah.
they can beat the Cavs.
Yes. Okay.
They can beat the
Bulls?
Bulls.
Yes.
Those are the teams that I know for sure that they can
Correct.
beat. The ones that I would
I agree.
question.
I agree. Yeah.
And-
the two that you left out, but the two in the conference finals last year. Hey.
And I'm exactly. And well, I left off like, I want to say 3. Yeah, I left off 3. So I left off the Heat.
He don't matter.
I, I left off the Bucks, and I left off the Nets.
Yeah.
Okay, and because, come on, who are we fooling? Once KD comes back, they're gonna be rocking. Okay, they're gonna be rocking.
And then Kyrie comes back, they're gonna be extra rocket.
No, well, here's the thing, right? You mentioned that the rule that's keeping Kyrie out expires soon, right? That's the state's mandate. But there's a private sector mandate that still doesn't allow him to play.
Yeah.
When does that expire?
He can enter the building, but he can't suit up and play. Which
He can stay on the bench.
Which makes no sense whatsoever.
So
it makes no sense.
Now, let me ask you: does that expire as well?
I haven't seen. I was looking, but I haven't seen a specific date.
So
for
he's
it because
still technically
it's
not available.
It's in limbo at the moment. So even though the mandate is done and he can technically play,
Wow.
private sector has a different thing where he can be in the building,
Wow.
but he cannot play.
Yeah.
Listen,
No,
this
no.
makes no sense to me.
No, but I totally understand why the mayor of the city cannot or does not want to override that, because
Yes.
many people have been affected by that rule. And if you take, your
It can be
power,
an exception for one person.
can't do it. You can't do
Yeah,
it.
can't do that for
So
one
I totally agree with him in not dissolving the rule, because the motives would have been,
For Kyrie to come back and
for
play.
Kyrie to come back and play. Now
Yeah.
he says he wants the Nets to go all the way. He wants a title in
Yeah,
the
he
city.
does.
And so that's interesting. But no, it raises a lot of questions. But I do think even with just KD coming back and Kyrie playing only away games, that team is going to be a monster in the playoffs. I don't.
And I don't even know about. I think you were going to mention about Ben. I don't even know when he's going to come back
That's
because
something.
he
Yeah,
still has the tightness. Yes, he
in
still
his
has
back.
tightness in his back.
That's
So
interesting, eh? Yeah, it's not the
yeah,
first time he's dealt with that, though, right?
no, it's not.
So that's
He's
that's
had this
another
before.
interesting
He's had
injury.
this before.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
anytime you hear NBA player bring up an injury that you've had before, it raises a lot of concerns, right? So,
but
um,
I think that's more to do with the fact that he probably was just there and he hasn't ramped up properly.
right, yeah,
So it could just be to do with that. So I think he's gonna be out for another week, maybe a
or
week
so,
or
yeah,
10.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So and
yeah,
it'll be
it's going to
fine.
be interesting to see him and KD, and also him handling the ball with Kyrie at the two potentially. I mean,
Right.
something like that would be grand to
But
see, man.
it should be it shouldn't be as difficult as it seems,
Hmm.
especially with Harden now, because remember Harden control the ball most of the time,
Yeah,
right? You got two of the best shooter scorers in the game,
right,
right?
right,
All you have to do is dish out the ball to
yeah,
them,
yeah.
right? As opposed to Harden, he can shoot and score,
Hmm.
right? So
Yep. I agree.
he can drive in, and this is Harden I'm talking about. He could drive in, kick it, and Joel Embiid could shoot the three as well, so he could kick it out,
Yeah,
right? The difference with the Nets is they have a bunch of shooters.
yeah, they do.
They
Yeah,
got Seth, they got Patty, they got Kyrie, they got KD, they got Harris if he comes back healthy, which should be soon. Listen, they have some of the best shooters
Seven,
in the game.
76ers are just. It doesn't make sense,
All
man.
the
It doesn't make
Nets
sense.
has to do with Ben is spread it.
Yeah, they
One
they
four flat.
I don't think the 76ers, thought this through all the way, man. I really question, providing them with an additional shooter like Seth. And to me, Seth has a lot of years ahead of him,
Oh,
and
definitely.
his game seems every
He's
year
getting
to,
better every year.
yeah, yeah. It's mind-boggling, that trade. I wasn't with the trade, to be honest. When I saw him as part of the trade, I really thought to myself,
Yeah.
why are we giving this team another shooting component?
Why?
This is
Like
madness.
I was like,
You
you
know?
give up Harden and then you get back Seth. I'll give it to Seth.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Alana, welcome to the show. She was saying, same way they handled Kawhi. And well, Kawhi, to answer that,
Kawhi's a little different.
Kawhi had a lot of power,
Yeah.
coming into his stint with the Clippers, right? When you listen to that dossier that gave you the information on his contract, people were amazed by the power he had.
They
I
just
mean,
give him what he wanted.
yeah, what he wanted. So you could, arguably play now and skip out, not train really, at a regular pace. Take the time you need. That's load management, as we like to
No,
call it.
man.
But
Listen, I
what
don't
I'm
feel
saying
up
is,
to par today. I'll stay out.
yeah, what I was alluding to was with Harden was just reduce his usage. So he's still not necessarily not play him in games, but reduce the usage every game, so that you protect him against any potential injuries, or mainly focus on the games against the teams that you'll be playing. So if they're in your schedule, really focus on that. Focus on the chemistry rather than trying to get stats, etc. Just kind of reduce the load a bit. So what you're trying to do is just trying to figure out your playing pattern for the playoffs, because it's only a few weeks left.
Yep.
Teams are going to be taking breaks. They're going to be cutting their stars off. So you're not going to be playing the actual teams sometimes that you'll meet in the playoffs. Playoffs mean what? Tighter rotation. So you're looking at going from a 15-man roster all the way down sometimes to 7, depending on the team that you're
7,
playing.
8. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it requires. I think they should really be focusing on chemistry right now, getting the plays right, and readying up their rotation. Really, what we're gonna do in the playoffs against who we're gonna be battling with. And if you look at, if the playoffs were to start today, right? They're the number 3 seed, so they would be arguably playing what, the number 6.
Number 6.
So they would have the Celtics. That's a tough matchup.
No, it is,
That's
especially
a tough matchup.
for first round. Plus,
Yeah,
Harden just got there.
yeah. That's a
Right?
very tough.
And the
because
Celtics, the same struggling Celtics,
reborn,
been gaining some speed, man.
reborn. I
Yeah.
actually don't know why. I haven't looked into to what changed. Maybe you know. Maybe actually, I'm asking you. You're the guy
They
right now.
they
That's your
they
team.
bought in.
They
They
bought in.
finally they finally bought, well, most of them bought in. But you could see some games that they kind of fall back to what they
To the
were
way they
doing
play. Yeah.
before,
Hmm.
but they bought into the system that coach brought in. So
Okay.
they're getting better, but
Yeah.
but they're still missing that like piece,
Yeah. Yeah. So
right?
I think they can do well, but I still have the Celtics out in the first round. Um, if they face Harden, I think Harden's and Embiid are too much. They're too much. Barring injury, I cannot see that with the pieces around them. I can't see that happening. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a tough one. It's a tough one, right? And with that saying, I'm gonna make another prediction here. Depending on where the Nets fall, right?
Right.
Philly may go all the way. You could have a situation here where honestly they end up playing the Bulls in the semis. When I say all the
I see
way,
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
depending on how the brackets, right? Because remember the playoffs are all
Yeah.
about matchups, right? So
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
could have if you look at how the playoffs are aligned right
They
now.
may never play the Bucks. They may
They
never play Nets.
exactly. Remember the East is all over the place right now, and it's so tight that it will shuffle again. The
Oh
Heat,
yeah, definitely.
the Heat to, I would say the Heat all the way to the Sixers, I would say, is still shuffling. But the number one seed is starting to separate itself from the Bucks, who are in number 4, and then from number 4 all the way to 8 is still in play. I mean, there's really not much games. You're looking at really maybe 2-3 games separating 4 to 8. So still very tight, very tight. So it's going to be interesting to see what really happens, going into that. Either way, it's going to be a tough matchup. If they face the Celtics, it's going to be a war. And I'm all for it, to be honest. I'm all for it. Now, another team that, to me, is not doing... I'm looking at their play, and yes, they're winning games, but I just wonder if they're going to suffer the fate that the Lakers suffered last year, the Bulls. We're entering the
First round
last few
exit.
weeks of the season. They haven't had their full roster to play with, meaning you're looking at Caruso, who's been out for a long time,
Yeah.
Ball, who has been out for a long time, and Levine has been missing games as well. Now, is Vujicic even playing right now, by the way?
No, he's out.
He's been out as well.
He's out as well.
Yeah.
I think he's
So
been
they
out for a
played,
couple
I think
weeks.
he played last night. So
He was
that's
out
a
for
good
couple
sign.
weeks before.
So Levine played. Kobe White was back. So it looks like most of the roster is actually coming back. And they picked up Tristan Thompson, who's actually contributing to their time as well. So, but they lost to the Heat in a matchup, right? So, like I said before, I don't see the Bulls going past the second round. I don't see that happening.
All depends on who they play.
There's ultimately some star power missing from the Bulls right now.
All depends on who they play.
There's something missing. They play great basketball. Don't get me wrong. These are players that it's almost like college type executionists,
Yeah, but much better.
But much better. Yeah. And that's why I think they win the games that they're supposed to win, and that's why I think it reflects in their record. But is this like a great team that is gonna win you a series against a team loaded with a star or two? No, not in the playoffs. I don't see it. I just don't see it. It's kind of sad because you want your regional team to do well. But I think ultimately they get whacked by one of the better teams.
They're getting back most of their players, so maybe you have a couple. We have like 5 weeks left.
Yeah.
Right. So you get them, and we have like 3, 4 games a week. So let's give them 5 games. See how they do. So that's like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah. So actually, I think Alana raised a good point. When will we see the brackets for the playoffs? Well, we're gonna do
Mm.
two brackets, right? I think the playoffs start in April.
April.
Um,
Yeah.
Now the only sad part about that, and we have some more to discuss. We will be doing the brackets on the fan page on the group site.
Yep.
But in terms of the show itself for April, I think we'll have to discuss more. We have some news coming on that. Um, the We'll be doing the college brackets as well. And an idea I thought we could come up with is maybe we could do it through a website, so we could post the link and allow
Oh
people
yeah.
on the page to actually take part
Actually, just take a
and
part.
see
Yeah,
who
that'll be
comes out
dope.
on top. And we can actually do the same through the NBA website for the brackets, right?
Yes.
Because the NBA has the bracketology that they do every year for the playoffs. Let's see who wins this, right? So,
You got a prize
yeah,
for the winner?
who you got? I don't know, man. We'll have to see. All expensive paid trip to Grenada. You can
Hey,
experience Grand Annex
hey.
Beach.
So I mean, I live here. So what do I get if I live here?
Hey, you get like a sugar cane juice at Wall Street, man.
Don't be hitting that sugar
Man,
cane juice
hey, no,
hits.
no, hey, well, that's what I'm saying. I would take that in a heartbeat right now, man.
That's right.
Trust me. But definitely, I think that should be fun. I think we'll definitely do the brackets and see, um, what's happening there. Now, didn't we have some bets to settle before we left last time?
Oh, we did. Oh, yeah, we did. I can't. I didn't. I forgot to check. Oh man.
Well, what date was it? Because we could go back to that and see what's happening. Who owes who?
So it was the first because they didn't have games on Tuesday, so it was the first games that was gonna happen on Wednesday, I believe.
Okay, it was Wednesday. Call out
Yeah.
one of the matchups that you actually had. Was it that week with the Hawks, Magic, Nets, Knicks? No,
No.
it wasn't. Okay,
Uh,
all right. What about maybe I got it here? So no, I don't see that. So call out the matchup. I can find it.
all right, so well, we had a Hawks and Bulls. Hawks and Bulls were one,
Hawks and Bulls were one.
and Nuggets and Kings were another one.
Nuggets and Kings. Yeah, yep, I got it. So the Cavs beat the Pistons that week. The
Right, so
the
we got
Celtics
that.
beat the Nets.
We got that.
The Suns beat the Thunder.
We got
Timberwolves
that.
beat the Grizz. Warriors
Timberwolves
beat the
beat the
Trailblazers.
Grizz?
Yep,
Damn, I didn't even realize.
yep. And
Warriors
the
beat the
Hawks
Trailblazers.
lost to the Bulls, and then the Nuggets beat the Kings.
Oh, it's a draw.
So we do this bet because the loser has to take shots every week of a drink. So unfortunately, we split it this week. So
Yeah.
that's quite unfortunate. I was hoping to take this one home, but that's all right. You know what? We're gonna pull you into this one, Alana. But let's set up the bets for this one right now. Let's do that. So
Let's go.
tomorrow's games. All right. Every
All right.
time I call out a game, you'll actually select which team you think is gonna win. We'll mark that down, and the loser ultimately has to take a shot on the next episode of the show of any drink that they have in their possession. So we got the Pacers Magic.
Pacers.
I'm gonna go Pacers as well. Cavs and Hornets.
Ooh. Hornets.
Hornets. Okay, that's interesting. Give me the Cavs.
Okay.
Knicks Sixers.
Knicks. Sixers.
Okay, yeah, give me the Sixers as well. Kings and Pelicans.
Pelicans.
All right. Yeah, Pelicans are playing strong ball right now. Give me the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Heat and the Bucks.
Ooh. All right, give me the Bucks.
Give me
I
the
can't go
Heat.
against ya. I
Give
can't
me
go
the Heat.
against ya. I
Give me
can't go
the Heat.
against Giannis.
Jazz Rockets. Give me the Jazz.
Yeah, Jazz.
Thunder Nuggets. I'll take the Nuggets. Deep thought, man, over that one.
Yeah, give me a Nuggets as well.
Nuggets. All right. And Trailblazers, Suns.
Ooh, should I take the Trailblazers?
That's
There's
a
no
that's a
there's no
wild card.
CP3. There's no
Yeah,
CP3.
that's a wild card right there because Simmons has been playing really good ball, to be
Yes.
honest.
And all the young guys been playing good ball too.
Yeah. Give me the Suns.
So if I take the Suns as well, we only have one matchup that differs.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Suns. I'll take the Suns as well. So the only thing that we have to watch really is the Bucks and Heat game.
Yep. I think Alana said the Trailblazers. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. But you know what? They've had some shock wins, to be honest.
They have. I was really impressed.
Yeah, there's some tight games right now. Like she was saying, we could do the Nets Raptors tonight. It's currently 65-66. I mean, we could throw that in there for the next show. Nets Raptors.
Where are they playing again?
Where are they playing? Scotiabank Arena. So that's Toronto, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Give me. I mean, Kyrie's playing.
No, he's not. I don't think he can play. He
Okay.
can't leave the. I don't think he can leave the country.
Give me Toronto in this matchup. A shout out to Mega checking in from Grenada. You know, I know you're down there for, you know, reasons. So just know strength and wisdom, bro. Shout out to you and the whole family tuned in. Hope Grenada is treating you well at the same time, you know. Crazy, you know, you leave here and war's popping off, man. You better come back here so peace can start, you know, happening out here, man.
I like that.
It's crazy.
Give me a Nets, sir.
Yeah, Nets. Okay, all right. So we added that. He was real hesitant with that, Alana. It's real hesitant. Alana has Toronto all day. LeBronto, sorry, all day.
You can call it Kobe as well. Cobroto.
He's wondering if he should stay there. Man, you know what? You might be true. You know, you might be right. With that, you know, it might be wise to stay on an island down there, man. If any radiation comes out, you know, because of the winds down there, it might just carry it away from the landmass. You know, it's better than staying in a major city where you know it's gonna get one. If it does come to that, hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. But yeah.
Don't jinx yourself, sir.
Yeah. Not. Yep. But definitely. Yeah, I think I got this one in the bag. I think I take this one home. In terms of
the Raptors game.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, the Nets. I'm not. You know, I was never gonna pick the Nets going into that matchup anyway. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're playing good ball. I just think again that's one of those teams that once they meet a team that's loaded with, you know, 2 stars. That's a wrap. You know, I think that's a wrap.
It's difficult for them to handle. They don't know how if they play a team. I wouldn't even say like the Heat because the Heat do play like more like the Celtics because it's not really like a 2-star. It's a 2-headed dragon, but it's not like a 2 proper stars as yet.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they can handle the Celtics.
Yeah.
But the Heat, I don't think we'll be able to handle the Heat. They definitely can't handle the Nets.
No.
Even the Nets without Kyrie and KD and Ben.
Kyrie's not playing. He's not playing.
He's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he can travel because he's not vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because he has to come back into the country and he needs to be vaxxed to come back in the country.
It's crazy.
What's interesting is
it's even far stricter over in Canada.
in
So
Canada.
yeah,
So you
he's not
know,
gonna play over
yeah,
there.
he's
You
not
know
gonna
what?
play. If they play Toronto the
Brooklyn
first round,
versus the
they play Toronto
wow.
the first round.
Wow.
That
It's
would be
over. I will
yeah.
be laughing so hard. You know what? Let me take a look at this. What are the
Idiot.
wow.
It's possible.
7-8 right now as
It's
it stands
possible.
right now.
Yeah, it's
It's
possible.
not just possible. That's
Hmm.
I mean, Celtics
They,
are 5.5 games back out of the one position. I mean, the Raptors are 7 games out with the Nets firmly in the 8th seed. When I say firmly, it's not that easy to come back from 2.5 games or 2 games down, So you're looking at a Nets Raptors playoff to begin a playing game
yeah,
to
they got
begin
a
the
playing
playoffs.
game. Seven and eight,
Wow.
7 and 8 have to play.
I
But don't
love
forget,
it. Let's
Katie
go.
and Ben are gonna be back, so I'm
Let
not worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
I love it. I love it. I
Not
love it.
worried.
I love it.
I am not worried.
Love it. Love it. This year is just something else, man. Now let's head over west for a minute here.
Oh god,
And
I know where we're going.
see what's happening, right? So in the West, the Mavs have climbed, right? The Mavs have been winning some games right now.
Did you catch that win the other night?
Yeah. What do you think is the reason behind their wins right now?
Defense and playing through Luca.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Right.
The game against the Warriors where they chipped away. I don't think most people know this, but the Warriors went entering the fourth um, by leading by 20 points or more.
Yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
last 62 games that they been entering the fourth and leading by 20 games or leading by 20 points or more,
Zero
they have
losses.
not lost. Right? The Mavs came back and won. I thought the game was over. Like when I saw the first half, I was like, "Oh, this game's done. I could go to bed." I woke up in the morning, bam. I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah.
Because third quarter is Warriors quarter.
Yeah. That's Warriors ball.
Right?
Yep.
That's when they put the game away. And in the fourth quarter is like cruise control kind of.
Yeah. Definitely.
But Luca, they played good defense. Actually, they have a surprisingly better defense than most teams think. Right? Luca is so good. Luca is so good. I think he
shout out
needs.
to Lana, by the way. Leaving. Take it easy.
Later.
Yep.
Bye, Lana. But yeah, Luca is so good. What he does out there, guys, I don't think people appreciate his talents the way they should. Right? They keep comparing him to Trey, but I think he's so much better. He's not a good a shooter as Trey, but he's so much better.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe the game that I saw in the highlights, and I'm like, yo, he just broke them down.
Yeah, he's to me. I look at you assess his skill, right? I think overall as a player, I think just impact wise, I like to focus on the impact of a player, and I think with his skill set, he has a greater impact on the game. I mean, to me, I think most basketball heads take Luka over, Trey on any day. It's not to discount Trey. Trey is an amazing talent, right?
Definitely.
And he's going to be a star for a long time in the league. But I just think that you look at what Luka is able to do at this stage, and I think a lot of it has to do with his experience, right? Just playing at that
definitely.
Euro level for a long time. He's not
that
at the
helped
same
him so
level.
much.
Yeah, I don't think they're at the same level of how they interpret the game, and that translates to impact. So but they've definitely moved up, and that's reflecting in the games that you're seeing right now. Now the Grizz, I think that they surpassed the Warriors for the second seed going into the playoffs. They're not far back. They're one game back, and they're winning games at a consistent level. We know that they can do that. I think that it's going to be an interesting matchup, especially if they go in facing like the Nuggets first, right?
Yes.
Because you're looking at them facing up against a capable star. I think they win that matchup.
Against the Nuggets?
Yeah, against the Nuggets. I think they beat the Nuggets.
Don't forget Jamal's coming back.
I understand that. That's fine. He's just not. Is Jamal gonna be the same player that we saw in the bubble prior to his injury? No, he's not.
No,
He needs a long time before he can get up to that level. So
yeah,
I think he's on limited minutes, especially if he's not playing yet at this point
yeah,
with
he's
3 weeks left till
yeah,
playoffs.
that's
Forget
a
it.
long.
Yeah, forget it. It actually, I want to take that back. It's not 3 weeks before the playoffs. There's a little more time before the playoffs, but you know,
I mean, it feels like 3 weeks.
it
Yeah.
feels like 3 weeks, definitely. So, but yeah, no, it's interesting. So I think they move up, and I think that gives Ja. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I think if the Grizz get the number 2 seed, how do you not give Ja the MVP?
Ooh.
How do you not give Ja the MVP?
Okay, so what if 76ers land the 2nd seed?
And the Grizz do what?
They land the 2nd as well. That's all right. But don't forget, when Ja was injured, they did go and they did continue their winning streak.
They did.
When
And
Embiid was injured, they did not stay on the winning streak.
right.
Right. And
So
when he came back, so it's
right. So
what
there's
the
that
impact.
argument. There's that argument. Here's the thing, right? Some things have to happen for Ja to keep the MVP. In my books, you have to have Ja compete at the level we saw last night towards the end of the season.
Crazy.
Okay? So I think he's not going to let up, which I think is a risk to the team because I think they should rest their stars. Once you seal your position, you rest your stars. The playoffs are no joke, right? This team knows how they play ball. By resting him here and there, I don't think that they would suffer. But if he does continue to the very end, and we know
Does take away
Embiid
from the
is,
momentum though.
we know Embiid is injury prone,
Yes.
right? No one can deny that. If he suffers and misses more time, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He's in the race. Don't get me wrong.
I honestly don't see him missing more time. And that's
Yeah.
mainly because James Harden is there.
He's there to take some of the weight off.
He doesn't need to do most
As
of
much.
the stuff that he's been doing.
But he's still
Right.
doing a lot. If you look at the output right now, it's still a lot.
He's still doing a lot.
You know, they're throwing up some insane numbers. Now, Mega was asking here, you know, what y'all think is the ceiling for the Grizzlies. So if we were to, what I like to do is freeze the brackets right now as it stands.
Freeze
Right?
away.
So let's freeze it as it stands right now. And we look at them in the 3 seed. They would be facing up the Nuggets today if the playoff started today.
Okay.
Now, Jamal healthy with Jokic, we have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have a problem. I don't think that young squad can handle that type of firepower.
And you think the young Grizzlies can?
No, that's what I'm saying I don't think the young Grizzlies
as
squad
in the young Grizzlies squad.
can
okay.
handle that type of
Okay.
smoke.
All
I
right,
don't
all
I don't
right.
believe so. Now I think they
Okay.
could make it entertaining. But
Right.
to handle that type of Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray type of smoke that we
Okay.
saw in the bubble, no siree.
All right.
That
but
that is
we know
Right.
Jamal's not going to be
right, but
on
he's not gonna be
35
I
minutes a
don't think
game.
he's gonna be 30%. I don't even think so.
Right.
Right? He won't have rhythm, he won't have all of these things. Give me the Grizzlies in that matchup.
You still taking the Grizzlies?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
With him not 100%. They
Okay.
have enough to take down the Nuggets as it is right now. Remember, there's no Porter Jr.
Okay.
There's no Jamal Murray, right?
Okay.
They're missing some players. And there's still questions, even though he's putting up stats and winning some games for them. I still think there are a lot of questions for the Nuggets. I think they could go as far as a conference semifinals, depending on the matchups here. Because, okay,
So we froze the bracket.
Yep.
We froze the
Yep.
standing now, right? So they're number 3, right?
yep,
Okay. So they'll be playing the number 6 seed, and after they play the number 6 seed, they win. What seed they play next? They play
Alright.
the number 2. They play the winner of the number 2 and 8 seed.
2 and 8 seeds. So that
So
would
2
be
and 8.
so 2 and 8 would be
No, 2 and 7.
Warriors.
2 and 7. Sorry, 2 and 7.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Warriors Timberwolves. I have the Warriors winning that.
Right. So they play the Warriors.
The Grizz can beat the Warriors, ladies and
Come
gentlemen.
on.
The Grizz can beat the Warriors.
Andre, stop this. Stop this.
Listen, man. I'm
Stop
telling
this.
you. I've said it. Let me say this. I'm going to give my reasons. The Warriors, ladies and gentlemen, are not the same Warriors from the dynasty years.
Yeah, because they're missing Draymond right now.
Forget Draymond. I'm going to say it now. Coming into this season.
This is the same thing you said at the beginning of the season.
And I'm going back to it. I've stood by it. Listen, they've won games, and give it to MVP caliber Steph that was playing out of his mind, right? Out of his mind. He was on MVP pace. You see, people forget the narrative, right? They forget what happened towards the beginning of the season. Steph was playing at an insane level. What happened after? They tapered off. Then you had Clay come in, actually helping with that. Luckily, came in just at the right time. But let me tell you something. You see that V shape? I always tell people, right? Anytime you see a V shape recovery, meaning an immediate recovery that almost resembles what the Warriors used to be, do not believe the hype. I'm telling you, people, the Warriors are not the Warriors that played the Cavs all those years. They are simply not. Thank you, Vaughn. Vaughn is saying the Warriors are a fraud. Now, I'm not saying that they cannot win playoffs games. They're going to dispose of certain teams, but they do not.
And the Grizzlies is one of the teams.
No. Oh my god. I can't believe you're saying that. The Grizzlies, let me tell you, the Grizzlies are I'll tell you a team that the Grizzlies remind me of. They remind me of the Warriors with Baron Davis and you know, and those guys, the We Believe team. It's not, you can't assess them via the stats that they're providing to you. You can't assess them by their age. That team has a knack. They just look like giant killers, man. I'm telling you. And they're going to upset some teams. Can they win the finals? No, I don't have them going that far. Remember the question that was asked was, how far do we think they can go? I'm just assessing how far I think they can go.
So to the semifinals.
I think they can get to the semifinals.
Well, that's where they meet the Warriors.
That's my thought. You know, I think they can get as far as the semifinals.
Okay.
And that would be an interesting series. Not many people think so, but they have, what do they have? They have athleticism.
Yes.
They have execution. And they have balance in their roster.
At the moment.
Spells trouble for teams that really haven't been complete through the season. And the Warriors, yes, they racked up wins early. Don't get me wrong. They racked up wins. But they're not the same Warriors. I keep telling people that. And let me tell you.
Draymond's been injured.
Let me tell you something that most people would not agree with. And you're probably going to laugh at this one and say, man, if the Lakers caught the Warriors in a playing game going into the playoffs, let me tell you.
Which Lakers?
This Lakers team. Let me tell you.
Okay.
We'll get to that take. We're not there yet. We're not on the Lakers yet.
Which Lakers?
You know what? I don't see Vaughn was saying that the Warriors can lose in a first round playoff series, not to the Timberwolves. I don't see them. I don't see them losing that matchup.
God, no.
If they went down, let's say they went down to the Nuggets. Nuggets don't have the firepower right now. If the Nuggets were 100%. But Vaughn, what I would say is, depending on the matchup, if they weren't so high up in the seeding, they would be, I would say you would have some trouble, because you have some teams that could probably bother them a bit. You know, people are looking at this V shape. The Warriors are back. We have the most elite defense. We have this. It's not the same team. I keep telling people that. and they're going to be relying on a lot of bench scoring coming in. There are ways to
Okay.
intimidate Steph. And I'm telling you,
Okay.
we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see.
I'm not saying they're winning the chip. I'm just saying that they wouldn't lose to the Grizz. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I see. I think it's a possibility. A possibility. What about the Jazz? So the Jazz may start off the series with the Mavericks. I
Ooh,
think that's a I
I'm,
think that's a good
I'm.
matchup.
That's gonna be a good series. I have the Mavs winning that one. Only because of Luca. I have the Mavs winning that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Luca's big
I
time.
think the Jazz can create some issues. Um,
I think they're too stagnant on offense. That's the problem. From all the years that I've been watching them, the offense is it becomes stagnant
Yeah.
in late game situations,
Yeah.
and they can't win basketball games like that.
Yeah, I agree. So we're on to the play-in games, right? If you were to start them today,
All right,
you're looking at the Timberwolves and Clippers.
that's a tough one.
And
Timberwolves.
I agree with this statement from Vaughn. None of the top teams would really want to play the Lakers in a first round matchup. I totally agree with that.
The Lakers not winning anything. Okay.
It's well, I just don't think you're gonna see the performances in a tighter road. Listen, you see this. We talked about Frank Vogel earlier this season, right? Trash coach for me. But when you limit,
not
his
trash, but
options,
not the one for the
Right.
for the Lakers.
when you limit a bad coach's rotation that's available, as you go into the playoffs where you're going from 15 players, you're toggling the lineups and rotations and the minutes, and now you're down to 7, 8 players, and you're dialed in, and you can move players less, right? I think now it's down more to the players. Now they have more of an impact, and I think that's where the
how do you
star
know?
power.
So, all right. So how do you know? Apart from LeBron, Russ, AD, maybe what's that guy?
Melo has to get time.
Okay,
Melo
So that's
has to
four.
get time. Yeah,
So that's four guys.
Ariza will get time.
That's five.
Right.
Those are the other two.
You have 5. I'm gonna name 2
Yeah.
more. You're gonna have to have what's the bench player's name? From Detroit. He was on
The big
10-day
man?
contracts, 3 10-day
Stanley?
contracts.
Stanley?
Stanley's getting minutes, and you have to give Stanley minutes.
So you're getting one more. The
Right.
guy that was the one. What's his name? Shooting threes and everything.
Who? In terms of
Monk. There we
Monk.
go. Monk.
Yeah, Monk.
Yeah.
Monk gets minutes. Monk gets.
So
minutes.
that's the 7.
So that's 7. Let's do 8. So who are they bringing in for? You're bringing in someone for. They waived DeAndre Jordan, right?
Yes.
So with the goal of bringing in a player, we talked about him before. They're bringing in a guard, apparently.
they bring in DJ Augustin.
Right. So he's somewhat a playmaker. I wouldn't say anywhere close to elite, but he can move the ball, right?
Yes.
Defense, I have questions about him, right?
I
So
have questions for the whole team defense.
right. Well, that's very true. Now that lineup where you're centered around LeBron James, will do damage in the slower game, more defensive game, because they can score in a slow game. They
Okay.
can score with the crowd, and I think Lakers honestly are built more for away than at home, because at home right now it seems like a war zone between them and their own fans. To be honest,
Man,
there's a lot of pressure there. But honestly, I do not think teams want to play this team right now. Now, I'll say one thing. What I fear for the Lakers going into these playing games is a team exactly like the Pelicans in a one-off series. Where you have a newly formed team that is told to just go for it.
just do things.
Just
Do it.
do your thing. Go out there. We have nothing to lose. That's a team that I think they're more built for a series. But LeBron is LeBron. You're not gonna doubt him in a playoff series. So,
Well,
but I think definitely what they need to really concentrate on is to hope that they don't fall out of the 10th position. Because what you have right now, the Trailblazers are winning games, and all
Yes.
of a sudden you have the Pels. Well, really, it's not that they're winning games. It's just that the Lakers have just been losing.
They're not winning. That's the
They're not winning
problem.
anything. That's the problem. So they're not
Yeah.
winning like one, losing two. They're just losing everything,
Yeah.
right? So that's the problem. You have to have a stopgap right now, and but definitely, I think my prediction is they get into the 8th seed. That's my prediction. They do
Stretch.
get into the 8th seed, and with that, they play the Suns. So that in itself is
Again.
that
Again.
in itself is going to be interesting. Now, when does
And-
CP3? How many weeks does he miss?
And he might come. He might miss the first round. Might.
Ooh,
Might. Or he may come back when the first round is game 1 or maybe game 2, something like that.
that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it all depends on the recovery.
If I'm the Lakers, start preparing for the Suns now. Start prepping for the Suns now.
Like they prepared the last time when
I know, right? I know.
And they lost.
the last time, let's put it this way, right? You had a team that was injured coming into the playoffs, barely had time spent to play with each other, and yeah, just seemed like at times they had control and then just got spanked. You know, the games where
A
he was
lot.
toying with what's that gentleman's name that used to play for the Cavs, the Heat, Locks. I can't get his name right.
Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder was toying with Crowder in that game. Everybody was like, "Look at this," you know. We thought it was wrapped up, and they just got spanked, you know, sent home. So yeah, they were up 2. That's a good point. They were up 2-1 until 80 went down.
I mean,
So-
80's going to go down again. So let's
Hey,
let's prepare for that. Let's
the
prepare
hip-
for 80 going
The
down.
hip fire from tonight is just like, yo, I'm not playing with this guy tonight, man. This guy's just like, this guy,
Just
no
saying.
expression, just like shooting up. Hey, man, the Lakers might burn you, man. I'm just putting it out there. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the reason why Ellington is not playing Vaughn is called Frank Vogel. His rotations
Frank
are
doesn't know what he's doing.
trash. Okay, trash. That's
He has
all I'm
too
gonna
much.
say.
I think the problem with Frank, he has too much talent, so he doesn't know how to incorporate the talent with each other.
Yeah,
Right?
Absolutely.
So-
absolutely.
So he does like he just, all right, should I try this? No, I don't want to try this. Then I'll get criticized for it. So I'll try what has been working before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I honestly speaking, I just hope that we see some sort of a change. I think he's gone at the end of the season. No
Definitely.
matter how far they go, unless they win a title, which that would be probably
But he was lucky the
special,
first
but-
time,
yeah, he was very fortunate. So
right? So I
and
don't
that
think-
team was fortunate because they did get ample rest going into that bubble. So that's something to
Exactly.
consider as well. It's on the coach. We pointed it out a long time ago. The rotations are horrible. Just the plays that you see. This guy is considered a defensive coach, and when you look at the defensive schemes, you just don't see anything that resembles that level of, just composure, on the
Yeah,
defensive
anything.
side. It's just not there. So, but I think we'll do a bracket. I think that's the plan. We'll do a collective bargaining podcast bracket. We'll try to come up with something to reward or to actually acknowledge the winner in that regard. If you're in Grenada, you might get a bag of fruits, or something representing the
Sounds so
agricultural
disrespectful.
element. No, I mean, come
bag
on,
of-
what's wrong
What
with that? What's
a bag
wrong?
of fruits?
I'm serious.
You
We
should give them a
think
a
about it.
case,
Think
a
about
case
it.
of something.
No, but what you see, that's the problem with us young Grenadians, man.
I need some
it's like,
alcohol, man.
why, man? Come on. I'm talking about 2 hands of bananas, some citrus, some talking a nice bag, man, or something. You know what I mean? So what's wrong with that? You know, you studying the alcoholic aspect. So come on, man.
That,
So if
some,
you're
some
abroad, then what we
fruit.
may do is you might get wow. You know how much for a
Yeah,
case of
see,
carb with you know how much for a case of carb with inflation right now, man? This thing is no joke, man.
with inflation.
You know, if we start charging people to view the show, then definitely we could start
Uh,
spreading out the love from the
man,
prophets. You know what I mean?
we'll set up some rivers and thing for the winter in the
Man,
states.
hey, you know what? The guy saying that he needs a case of carb, let me tell you, his collection of alcohol is not to be messed with. He's the last person that should be asking right now for any alcohol
A
right now.
case.
So case of carb, nah, nah, nah. You could, you know what? If you donate some of that alcohol that you have in that stash
Ooh,
that's ready to be drank in case we have a World War III, I'll gladly give it away on your behalf on the show. So
gladly give it away.
shout out to Mega with the world's largest collection of, alcohol.
Alcohol.
All right. But definitely. Um, yeah, Vaughn was saying every team they faced was injured. I'm guessing he means in the bubble.
Yeah,
There were a lot of injuries, yeah, throughout that
that's
time.
normal. That's playoffs.
That's just the playoffs, right? The same could be said for Toronto
Last year,
when they made their run. A lot of injuries they faced going through, so
except for the
it's
Bucks as
quite.
well.
Yeah, the Suns too. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. So
Yeah,
you need a little bit of luck, right? That's what they tell you, right?
definitely
Going into the playoffs, and sometimes the basketball gods really hand you that hand. You know, a straight flush going
they
in.
do.
Every card you pick up is like, oh,
They
star
All
missing.
right.
Oh,
Let's go.
yeah. So that's something to, yeah. But I hope we get like straight wars. What I want to see, I want to go back to, wars like the Wizards Celtics and when you had Wall versus, IT. I want to see some game
Woo.
sevens where it's like just games, just back and forth action. I need some of that. So,
There'll be a
um,
lot of close. There'll be a lot of close games in the playoffs, but I don't think it'll go past 5 or 6 games.
yeah, yeah. And I just hope
But the
COVID
games will be
does
close.
not play a factor,
I,
in
man,
anything this time. Just
what
please,
is
no,
COVID? I don't think. I don't even think they even consider
man.
COVID anymore.
Yeah, that's a thing. And then I hope, obviously, the global well, the war over there. I just hope it doesn't
I
spill
hope
over
it's impact. Yeah,
because
that's
a
the
lot
thing.
of us might be having to throw on some garbs and yeah.
Good
So
luck, buddy.
yeah, I know, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Grenada might not be untouched, man. Hey, what if Venezuela decides, hey, you know what, we see some islands out there that might need taken too. But hey, this is not a political show. We're
What?
not gonna get into
What?
it. So, but yeah, back to what yeah, he was injured. AD was injured actually as well.
Man,
Going
when
that
is
that entire.
AD not injured?
So, Lakers always have that excuse, by the way.
When is he not injured?
Mr. Glass himself. So yeah, we
Mr.
know.
Street Clothes.
That's Mr. Street Clothes, man. I'm telling you. But yeah,
Hey,
I think that would be interesting. Now actually, I'm gonna launch. We're gonna try to launch the college brackets as soon as possible, and we're gonna
yes.
make sure that people sign up for the NBA brackets as well, to make sure it's fun. And we'll try to formulate ways in which we can make it interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So look out for that. Definitely, we'll have both those brackets. I know we don't cover college games right now. A lot of playoff games. I mean, they're winding down the season right now. So in about, I think you should start seeing more
Yeah,
um,
it's time for March
conference.
Madness. So
Yeah,
yeah.
conference matchups will start pretty soon here. So if they
Yes.
haven't started already, so
Yes.
and then we'll start rolling into the brackets. But definitely, we're gonna start working on that. So look out for that pretty soon. Brackets on the group site. So
Yes. Yes.
um,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I think we got our game set for
Do.
what we'll be drinking. But also too, I think we got to bring on a guest. I think we have some interesting folks that follow the show. Try and get them on. to talk to us about some basketball. So if you have an interest in talking with us live on the show, whether it's
Yo,
from your
just
cell phone or,
uh,
you know,
and don't be scared. You don't have to spend the entire show. You can spend
no,
5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah, it's just all about what you want to talk about. You can say your piece and
yeah,
leave.
and leave. Even if I know some people are not built for the lights, actually, and the cameras. But you can just say your piece, leave, or you could sit down, chomp it up with us on the show.
Hey,
All right. But if you're coming, just make sure and bring your friends with you. That's all we ask. Bring your friends with you to view the show. Okay.
that's right.
But definitely, we'll be inviting some people on to talk some basketball, chop it up with us, and just have a good time. So look out for that as we move
Yes,
into
yes.
the next phases. So, yep. All right. Well, let's see how those games play out. I think I'm going to continue with another win there. But we got
Another
two
win.
games separating. Two games,
You're
right?
on, you're on a losing streak, sir.
True.
A
Well, I got a
one
loss and a
game,
draw. Loss and a
one
draw.
game. All right, fine.
Loss and a
fine.
draw. So
Yeah,
that's
so it
not
could-
too bad.
Okay. All
That's
right.
not too bad. That's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see if I could carry on that, start a streak going here pretty soon. I think that's going to be the main goal. But I want to make sure everybody's safe out there. Everybody just just pay attention to what's going on around you. That's the most you can do right now. All right. But a lot of NBA action coming our way, so let's stay tuned. Anything else you wanna share with the global audience?
And Carey's the most skilled offensive player in the basketball. Just thought I'd add that in there.
I think if we want to go down to that, I think James Harden is more offensively gifted than Kyrie. But
Stop this.
yeah,
Stop
I'll
this.
leave that there. But
Stop this right now.
yeah, you see, I know that would bring you right back to the mic. But
Stop this.
both are insane takes that should never exist. Okay.
Carey's the most skilled basketball player.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it on that take. That statement itself irks me in my sleep, ladies and gentlemen.
That it does. That it does.
The late great behind you on the wall would not accept such a statement. I'm sorry.
I said currently in the basketball. He was
Yeah,
the most
no,
skilled
well,
when he
he
was playing.
because he would know better and would not agree with that.
He would not disagree with it.
Wow. Yeah. All right. We'll see where that goes. I think I'm gonna have to address that in a major segment, of the show again, since we tried to break that down and it didn't work.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
All the tricks in the bag. All the tricks.
All right. Kyrie has 0 All NBA selections. Am I correct? Am I correct?
This has nothing to do all NBA, all star, offensive player of the year.
Ladies
MVP.
and gentlemen,
It has nothing to do with that.
Kyrie Irving is probably the highest ranked player with the lowest impact on winning games.
What does that have to do with him being the most skilled?
Hold on, that I have ever seen since the year 2000 to now. He is the most talented individual with the lowest impact on a game. Meaning, for all the things that he does on the offensive end, he does not guarantee you winning the basketball game. And that just speaks volumes for how poor he is as an NBA player. An NBA player.
Premise.
That is why, after doing all the fantastic things he does as a player, he's not in the top 75, and you hear no one making any noise about him being not being in the top 75. I don't even think he would deserve being in the top 100 in the next 25 years, ladies and gentlemen. And that's because he does not impact the basketball game around him. He does fantastic things that make you go, ooh and ah. That's about it. That's what he is.
Like I said,
glitter. Okay, that's all he is. Glitter.
All the tricks in the back. Arthur has a knack for just putting bullshit around so he can win his argument.
All right. No.
The tricks in the bag.
we will address this. We will address this on a show. We will
You can
break down
address.
Kyrie's game and we
You
will
can
attack
address.
because we can't simply just come out and say skill. When I having a skill means and being good at that skill means you actually impact the basketball game. It has
Okay.
to be attached to impact. Because when you are good at what you do in the NBA, it means that transcends to impacting a basketball game. When
What is that?
Rodman is pulling rebounds, which he's good
Why
at,
does that have
hold
to do
on.
with
So
being all
so
the skills?
and I'll make my point. I'll make my
Okay,
point to answer
go ahead.
that.
Go
When
ahead. Go ahead.
Rodman is good, Rodman is elite at rebounding. Does his
Okay.
rebounding impact a basketball game, sir?
Okay. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah,
Answer me. Answer.
I guess.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's
I said
carry
I
on.
guess.
Let's carry on. Kobe is elite at scoring the basketball game. Does Kobe's scoring impact the basketball game?
Anything you do impacts the
No,
basketball
it
game.
does not. Not necessarily. Look at Kobe's win shares. Look at Kyrie's win shares. Kobe's known as one of the most skilled scorers that ever lived in the game of basketball.
Okay.
He's also known as one of the players that has the most impact on a basketball game. That's the point. My main argument centers around what you're saying. Kyrie's not the most skilled scorer in the game. The reason and I'm giving my reason, the reason why I argue that he's not, and let me take back that statement. He's a skilled handler of the basketball. He's a skilled finisher at the basket.
Okay.
But his impact on games to me is so low. He doesn't guarantee a win. And now that we're getting to that second half of his basketball career, I'm glad we're here now. Because if you go back to his game at the Cavs, didn't impact winning before Braun was there. When Braun joined,
he was young.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What what did young Braun do? Didn't he impact winning? A young Braun was winning 60 games with nobody on the roster in Cleveland.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Wow.
Braun's a
Oh my God.
Braun's a once in a generation athlete player. You
So
can't compare LeBron. You can't compare Kyrie to LeBron. He's a once in a lifetime player.
I need a beach to run on right now because this is crazy. Kyrie has such a low impact on games.
All the tricks in the bag.
No, he
That's all I'm
doesn't.
saying.
No, he
All the
doesn't.
tricks in the bag. He has all the tricks in
He
the
has flash, ladies and gentlemen. It's what I call
All
glitter.
the tricks.
It's what I call glitter. I cannot rate you and what you're doing on the court unless it impacts
it has
winning.
impact.
Unless
so
it has impact.
You tell me the most skilled player you've ever seen, and because he doesn't win games, he's not the most skilled player you've ever
He's not
seen?
the most player I've ever seen. So that's the thing. I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Is he the most? So we discussed this the last time. Is Kyrie is a top 10 skill passer? No, he's not. Top 10 skill rebounding? No, he's not. Top 10 skilled in defensive ability, steals, blocks, anything at all in those categories? No, he's not. Let's go to scoring. Is Kyrie top 10 in shooting in the league in terms of skills? No, he is not, ladies and gentlemen. Is Kyrie the best handler of the basketball in the league? Yes, he is. That's what it is. Give him that.
So
Is Kyrie?
Hold on. So
Again, I break it down. Wait, hold on. Since you wanted that smoke, I'm gonna give you that smoke, okay? Is Kyrie Irving a top 10 3-point shooter in the league in terms of skill? No, he is not, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Finishing at the basket, is he one of the, in terms of his layup package? Yes, he is. But Kyrie does not dunk the basketball. That's only half of finishing at the basket. That's something that people don't analyze.
Why you need
Finishing
to
at
dunk
the
ball?
basket has, okay, let's consider this, right? We have a line here. This entire line is effectively is made up of all the different ranges of things split in half. On the left side, you have finishing under the basket. On the right side, you have above the basket. It means
Okay.
his skill set is missing half of that potential above the basket.
You
You
know
have
Kyrie
players in the
can't
league.
dunk, right?
He can dunk, but
Okay.
he
So,
can dunk, but he's a
because Chris Paul
basic
doesn't dunk,
dunker. But he's not
because
above
Chris
the
Paul doesn't
rim.
dunk.
Yeah, but he's not above the rim. Come on,
Okay.
man. Come on. He's not above the rim. So he's basically his skill set persists on half of that line. You
Okay.
can't generalize and say he's the most skilled finisher at the basket when you have guys finishing with the ability. And you know
But
what? Let me
that
take back
makes it
part.
even
I'll
more
take back parts
skillful
of that.
because he
It makes
can't
him
go
skillful
above
with what
them.
he does, but to me, because he's missing part of that overall package. Again, that's the argument I have. I just named almost every corner of skill sets available to you for a basketball player. And he's
Okay.
not top 10 in most of them. How is he the most skilled?
If when you're the most skilled, do you have to be the best?
No, but you should be in the top 10 across the board, at least. You got guys I can name that are top 10 across the board.
Yeah, you can name the guys at the top 10, but are they top? Apart from maybe LeBron or somebody else, you could probably name a couple in the top 10s.
I mean,
There's
I
only going to
think
be one guy here in the top 10, one guy in the top 10, one guy.
I'm
Kyrie
gonna
can do
say
all.
I'm gonna say something, because I find that you've lowered your standards since
Wow.
Kobe Bryant. I have to say that you have
Wow.
lowered your standards with the world's skill since Kobe Bryant. You've done that, and this is why I'll say that. This is why I'll say that. We're coming from a time where we're talking about T-Mac. Guys, that the same thing I'm talking to you about, the line. Could the T-Mac have all the things that you see Kyrie doing? Yes. Under the rim? Yes. He could double pump. He could different angles. He revert, all that stuff.
Okay.
Above the rim, we don't even have to talk about it. So he had that full line. Kobe Bryant the same way. Are you blocking Kobe Bryant under the rim with his agility? No. We seen him do things to his body that we can't even comprehend to this day. Above the rim, we know what he did to people, right? And now here we are looking at some guy that doesn't have the full package.
The hate is so real, man.
We have some. Wait till they hear you talk about Jamal Murray, and then you'll see hate. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Don't take this guy seriously. If you want to see hate, talk to him about Jamal Murray being a good player, and you'll see some hate.
Man.
And I'm talking the most unnecessary jabs, worse than me. So anyways, we're looking at Kyrie Irving right now, who doesn't have nearly the same skill set, and propping this guy up as the most skilled offensive player in the league. Stop it.
Most skilled.
Oh my goodness.
I say what I say.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. I'm in shock. I can't believe every time I hear that statement.
It's okay.
I think I look back at the 90s. I look back at our standards, and I'm ashamed right now. I'm ashamed.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm ashamed.
We're gonna get other people to to agree with me.
Unbelievable, man.
And then you open your eyes and be like, oh, you know what? He is the most skilled. All right, cool.
Unbelievable.
It's okay.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is. I guarantee you, I will dedicate a segment to going on the offensive on that particular statement. I'm telling you, whoa, ooh, whoa, wow. The way you talking about Kyrie's like, it's not even close. Come on, Shadell. Stop this madness. We're saying the way I'm talking about Kyrie is like the way we talk about LBJ. LBJ, 40K, 10K, 10K when he makes that. It's not me taking it from you. To take from the words of the great IT, who used to beat on Jordan and his team in the 90s, and take from the great Shaquille O'Neal and other greats like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and other people that say once you achieve that, there's no denying. People in today's society can't take the fact that, many people don't see Jordan as the GOAT to begin with.
Ain't no goat, bruh.
And that's respectable. That's respectable. I personally would not debate a person once they take up that angle. I tend to leave that statement alone. No, I don't share that view. But
different eras, different rules,
yeah,
different everything.
But from my angle, Shadell, on the basketball court, overall, LeBron 2018 is the most skilled basketball player that ever lived, that I have ever seen. 2018, Bron?
2018. Okay.
2018.
Okay.
The best basketball player, hands down. I've seen all of Jordan's games. I've seen, all the greatness, everything for what he brought to the table, And yeah, I agree. Kyrie's one of the best ball handlers, but most skilled? No. There's so many skills associated with, and you have to pay attention to what he's saying. Eh? He's saying most skilled and leaving it there. You have so many skills. That's disrespectful to a lot of NBA players more skilled than Kyrie. So, just
thank you. Best skill doesn't mean
no. So no. But I'm aware of that. Right. Notice Kyrie is not even an all NBA talent in the league right now. He's not.
That has nothing to do with his skills.
Trust me, if you're one of if you're the most skilled player in the league today, you're making an all NBA team. I'm sorry. And that's the way it's always been. The highly skilled players are generally associated with, they may not be the outright best player in the league, but they're normally associated with the best players in the league. And right now, can we say Kyrie is top 10 in the league? No, he's not. He's not even close to that. No. Is that a hot take? No, it's not. So...
That's an easy question. Kyrie's most skilled.
Ooh.
That's an easy question.
Dame.
That's an easy
Kyrie
question.
Versus Dame?
Kyrie's most skilled.
And Dame?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, son.
Dame is more skilled than Kyrie.
Come on, son.
Dame is a better player than Kyrie.
Both.
Both. He's a better baller, and he's more skilled.
He's a better baller
than Kyrie. Wait. Wait. Hold on. Let me ask you. Kyrie's a better basketball player than Dame Lillard?
If you had to pick a team now, would you pick Kyrie or Dame?
No. You're not getting away with that. I asked you a straight question. Who's the better basketball player? Dame or Kyrie?
Man, I'm picking Kyrie.
I'm done, man. Bro. This
I'm picking Kyrie now. I am picking Kyrie.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, let's address this on the next show because we are over time, and yeah, this is
Kyrie.
Insane.
Kyrie.
Wow. Kyrie is more skilled of a handler than Dame of the basketball.
You stuck on this handler.
Kyrie is not a more skilled shooter than Dame. Kyrie is not a more skilled weapon on a team than Dame. Kyrie, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Kyrie's skill package is much better than Dame's own.
What?
Why? Because Dame can shoot the three better?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, he's a better handler of the basketball, but his impact is wow. Let's address this on the next show. We'll address this on the next show because I think we're confusing subsets of skills with overall skill package. Because the NBA has multiple skills, right? So, but let's address this. I think that we're gonna start the next show with that. Let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Collective Bargaining podcast. We have a lot to address. Iverson is crazy skilled. Kobe was more skilled overall. I would say, yeah, and we'll talk about skill. We'll definitely talk about skill. I think in general, and then try to break down where we differ, because I think there's a misunderstanding here between his addressing of skill, and it may come down to the fact that he's just saying most skilled and leaving it broad, and that can mean a lot of things. So we're gonna have to address that. He's not the most skilled baller in the league. That's not even close.
Most
Um, he's the most skilled handler of the basketball. That's all he's leading the
most
NBA
skilled
in.
offensive player in
No,
the
that's
NBA.
crazy. That's wild. That's wild. More skilled than
Most
Steph?
skilled.
More skilled
Most
than
skilled
Steph?
offensive player in the
Than
NBA.
Steph?
I said what I said.
This is madness. Okay. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we
I
shall
said
join
what
you
I said.
Thursday. Do not miss it. We have a lot to address. All right. Yeah, we'll address this.
I said what I said.
Definitely need to go back to the drawing board with Kyrie. He's not ready with that kind of talk there. Crazy. That's wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. More skill, eh? We'll address that one.
Kyrie.
You're gonna be drinking a shot and taking fire.
Kyrie.